Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're going to do another episode of Bytes and Nibbles with Breck today. Today's recipe comes to us from Simone Wroe from Perth, Australia. She sent us a recipe for sticky honey chicken, which is something I can do in the Instant Pot, which made it look really attractive to me because, you know what, I want to try a bunch of things and see what I can do with that. This has the added benefit is I'm not going to be using the Instant Pot in pressure cooker mode. I'm going to be using it as a slow cooker today, and this is going to be the first time I've ever done that. So I actually had to kind of look up the process to see how you turn the Instant Pot from a pressure cooker into a slow cooker. And it's actually really simple. It's pretty stupid. Actually, you just hit the vent button on the top so that it just constantly vents and doesn't build up the pressure. Pretty simple, huh? Another added benefit is a lot of the ingredients required for this recipe I already had, because it's chicken and it's honey and it's soy sauce and it's brown sugar and a few other things. And with the exception of the onions and garlic and the brown sugar, I had everything else, and I hadn't heard any runs on the three items I was looking for, so I felt pretty confident that I could find them. So let's get going with sticky honey chicken. Alright, so here are the ingredients for our recipe. First off, we're going to start off with a little natural honey, some soy sauce, a little bit of flour, 500 grams of chicken. Now, for those of you who aren't into the metric system that much, that's a little bit more than a pound. Translates to about 1.1 pounds. So I've already sliced this up into cubes because it required to do that, and you know what it looks like when I cut things up, so don't need to do that over and over again, right? A little brown sugar, a medium-sized onion, a little bit of butter to brown the chicken, and some garlic. Oh, and of course, one Instant Pot. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken and we're going to mix in about I'm choosing to put in about 1/4 cup of flour. Basically, what we're going to do is we're just going to use the shake and bake method here, and we're going to coat our chicken with the flour. I want to get a little air in there so that there's room to move around. And we're just going to kind of shake everything up here until it's nice and coated. Because who doesn't love shake and bake, right? I love these bags. They don't even hold the powder in there. So I got flour all over the kitchen. Ain't that wonderful? I think I'm going to buy different bags next time. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to melt my butter. This is about 3 tablespoons of butter. And then I am going to kind of brown my chicken, which has been coated in flour. We don't really want to cook the chicken thoroughly. Just kind of brown it a little bit so that the remainder of the cooking takes place when it gets in the Instant Pot. Alright, so we have our butter now melted. I've got the temperature on the stove at about medium heat. You don't want to go too much on this. And I'm just going to start dishing in my chicken here. And we are just about doing good right now. I think that looks pretty good. Basically, I've just gotten to the point where it's just all kind of browned a little bit, gotten all the kind of pink and gray meat darkened up a little bit. All right, and once the chicken's got a nice slight browning to it, what we're going to do is we're going to add in our onions, just for a short period of time. And like I said, this is about half an onion, sliced up. I put it in the food processor because Don't like crying when I prepare my onions. And we're just going to kind of stir that around a little bit. Alright, I'm going to put that aside because we're going to work on the rest of it now. Now, just as a little safety tip, be very, very careful when you're working with the slicing tool on the food processor. You can cut your finger very, very easily, and I did that just a couple minutes ago. So, don't ever let it be said I'm not willing to shed blood for my viewers. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I am going to mix in all of my remaining ingredients. So there's a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I only had 2 of these little jars, so this is the honey and the garlic. Because what goes better together than honey and garlic? I'll have to get in there with a little rubber scraper and get that out of there. And 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And then I'm just going to kind of mix it all together here. One big kind of concoction here. Make sure it's all just kind of blended together here. Now, since I have the 10-quart Instant Pot, which has a little bit too large of an inner pot for this small quantity, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put this little mixing bowl right in there, and we're going to just cook it right there in the bowl like that. So the next thing I do is I put my lid on, close it. Now, as you know, this is primarily a pressure cooker, and the pressure is controlled here. And as long as this thing is up and this button is down, there's no pressure. But we don't want to operate this thing as a pressure cooker. We're going to operate it just as a slow cooker. So we want to make sure it continues to vent. So I'm going to just press the vent button. That way it'll just constantly vent pressure and it won't be the issue. And we are going to pressure cook, or we're going to slow cook this for between 2 to 3 hours at high heat. So we're going to select slow cook. We're going to set the time. We're going to start with 2 hours just to see what happens. So we'll come back to this in about 2 hours and see what it looks like. And if it isn't ready, then we will try and cook it a little bit more. Now, the recipe suggested serving this with white rice and a vegetable. I didn't actually go with the white rice. I went with the wild rice. And I chose this for a couple reasons. First off, I wanted to see how the Instant Pot did with doing wild rice, because you remember in the past when I made my chicken and mushroom and wild rice soup that it took like a day and a half just to prepare the rice, because you have to sit and boil the rice for 24 to 36 hours to get it ready. Yeah, I did this in the Instant Pot. It took about 25 minutes to do it, and that is definitely a superior way to cook wild rice. So right now I've just got it soaking in water. I'll just put it on the stove and heat it up before dinner. I'm also going to prepare a vegetable, probably some Brussels sprouts, but that only takes a minute to cook in the Instant Pot. So we'll wait until we get all done with this and we'll move on to the vegetables. Alright, the timer has gone off after 2 hours, and I've given it a little bit of stir, but I think I want to just let it go for one more hour before we do this. So I'm going to put it back in for 1 more hour and just let it keep going. Okay, we're 3 hours in. I gave it a good stir, pulled it out. I think this looks pretty good. I've also heated up my wild rice just so that it's ready to go. And I got some Brussels sprouts in the steamer, and that'll take about 5 minutes. So we're going to get that all finished, and then we're going to give this thing a taste test. Alright, so this looks pretty good. I'm definitely going to dig in right now and see how it is. It smells fantastic. So let's give this thing a taste test. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got, you can taste a little bit of the honey. I guess I'm tasting more of the soy sauce. than the honey or the brown sugar, but it's really, really good. I was thinking it was going to kind of taste like orange chicken like you get in a Chinese place. It doesn't. It's a little bit more of a soy sauce flavor than that, but it's really, really good. It's nice and moist and nice and juicy. And yeah, this is a good one. Definitely recommend this one. Like I said, I made some wild rice, which I did in the Instant Pot, and that only took about 25 minutes, which usually takes about 36 hours, so that was a good thing. I did the Brussels sprouts in the Instant Pot. That took only about 3 minutes, and I got my meal ready to go. So I'm happy with this one. This one turned out good. And I got one little piece of news to share with you. I talked to my mom this morning. She's going a little bit stir crazy in her apartment because she's still locked in, but she's doing fine, and she has confirmed that next Sunday she is going to come and do a live stream with us when we do our weekly live stream on Sunday. So she agreed that it will be at 1 o'clock roughly Pacific time, 3 o'clock Texas time, or 4 o'clock East Coast time. So do your calculations. Basically, 3 o'clock Texas time is 5 hours before my videos normally go up. So if you know what time my videos go up in your time zone, subtract 5 hours from that, and my mom will be here doing a live stream, kind of like my father did a few months ago. So you're going to get to hear her, get to ask her questions, and let's just see where this goes. I think this is going to be fun. So definitely check in, and after that, I think we're done here. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Bon appetit!